There is no such program for a meeting. Mr. Trump did not create conditions necessary to bring about the atmosphere conducive to a meeting.
Mr. President, you and all of us witnessed the United States President Trump, travel to Singapore and sit down with Kim Jong-un, a country that does have nuclear weapons. I'm curious how you viewed that meeting and if there is somewhere a model in there that might broach an opening for dialogue between Iran and the United States.
The North Korean model cannot be a correct model because we cannot draw such comparisons. This is in the hands of the Trump administration for it to cease its threatening behavior towards Iran.
The U.S. is reimposing sanctions it says are meant to force Iran to stop its missile development and end support for terror groups. The U.S. has made it clear that it wants to bring your oil exports down to zero. Do you think that will happen, and how will you respond if it does?
The United States is not capable of bringing our oil exports to zero. This is an empty promise, and it's a threat that is empty of credibility.
Some of the statements from Iranian officials have given the impression that Iran might move to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, to block all exports from the Persian Gulf. Is that something that you would consider?
If the United States wishes to use force in order to sanction the petroleum industry of Iran, it will certainly see the appropriate response. We do have the power to secure our own waterways and keep our waterways free.
Is that a warning to the Trump administration? Should they take that as a warning?
This is not a warning, this is a reality. If the Persian Gulf waterway, which is to remain free and secure, it must remain so for everyone.
Rouhani told me Iran will remain in the nuclear deal as long as the other countries in the accord hold up their ends of the bargain. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.